Those days. I remember those days.
Hello, vinyl community. This is Tommy, and welcome to another musical adventure. And this adventure is really kind of a housekeeping sort of thing. I'm just going to show, hopefully rather quickly, some recent pickups. Now, back in the old days of my channel, if you've been watching my channel for a long time and you go back, usually these types of videos is just this vast, enormous thing. But this is new pickups, and these, what I've discovered is I just don't buy records like I used to, the bulk. Now, a lot of it has to do with my collection is, to me, very well sort of maintained, in the sense that there's just a lot of stuff that I don't really want or need. And so a lot of these pickups are just things where I'm either filling in gaps or I'm picking up better pressings, whatever. And so I'm excluding things like any sort of gifts that I've gotten, like the Long Promised Road soundtrack that Sam St. John was kind enough to send me, which I showed in another video. These are more just like, these are pickups that I've grabbed, and they go back to Christmas, and so so it's been a couple of months. But so there's not many, but I'll get right to it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. I always have to say this. I feel like this is kind of the YouTube standard. But comment down below. I try to respond to all the comments that I get. I appreciate everyone that takes time to comment. And I appreciate everyone watching the channel. And like I said, subscribe. Subscribe. That's a tongue twister. Let's get right to it. The first one is Frank Zappa's Waka Waka. Now, this is the recent reissue 50th anniversary. I just got the standard black vinyl edition. I love these new Zappas. I've slowly but surely been replacing all of my original Frank Zappa records with these reissues, just because they sound better. They just are to me the best way to enjoy these albums. The artwork's great. I don't have to worry about them being beat up or anything like that. So those kind of, they go well. And that's the same thing with the Grand Wazoo, which is the other one. They kind of came out at the same time. They're also a 50th anniversary. These are the albums that he made right after the horrible accident that he had with the band with Flo and Eddie, Howard Kaylan and Mark Volman, where he was pushed into the orchestra pit at the Rainbow, and Frank was laid up with a hurt foot. He couldn't tour anymore. That version of the Mothers kind of disbanded. So Frank kind of went back to the Hot Rats thing and kind of put together a studio band, as it were, and made some really incredible records. Kind of a jazz rock fusion thing. Not a lot of vocals. So if the Frank Zappa silly lyrics thing kind of is not your scene, you might enjoy those albums more, because they kind of focus more on the guitar work and the instrumentals and everything like that. These are a couple of records I got for Christmas. I got Shot of Love by Bob Dylan. This is the reissue, and the reason I've got an original of this album, but one of the reasons I wanted it was because it's got The Groom Still Waiting at the Altar, which, if you go back and watch my older videos, when I bought this album, I didn't realize that the song was not on there, because I always knew it as a song on the album. Well, it wasn't until later that I found out that it was an add-on. I love that song, and so this is the reissue that came out on We Love Vinyl. And so I wanted it to have that song. I'm keeping my original pressing, but I wanted this one to have that track, and just as a completist. So here you are, folks. Here's a freebie for you. It's a download. And if you don't have that album and you want it, it's probably used by now. But there you go. I'm leaving it up here so you can get the code, and you can go grab a copy of Shot of Love by Bob Dylan. This was the third of his Gospel Trilogy albums, and I think it's probably my favorite of the gospel, but I love this album. But anyway, so there you have it, a free download for the first person to watch this video and grab it and want it. So best of luck to you. This was another Christmas album for me, Barn by Neil Young. This was his last album, his last studio album with Crazy Horse. I'll be honest, I've only spun it once, and it didn't do anything for me. I'll probably give it another listen. I love Neil, but that just kind of left me a little cold, not much to it. Joshua Hadley's Neon Blue, his first release. He started with Third Man Records. This is his first release for the New West label, and this is a colored edition. I think this was for Cyber Monday. I'll go ahead and show it to you guys. That's a beer blue. Joshua Hadley, kind of when he came on the scene with Mr. Jukebox, was a very sort of kind of classic country, kind of sounded like a 60s Nashville record. This album is more in the vein of like 90s country. The songs are a little more upbeat. It's more of a party album, and I like it. I think it's a cool record. Josh is definitely country. There's no two ways about that. But yeah, Joshua Hadley's Neon Blue. Another Christmas gift, an album that I didn't have on vinyl, but this is the Target exclusive Craft Recordings Charlie Brown Christmas Vince Guaraldi Trio, and this is a colored vinyl edition too. I figured I'd show it to you guys. Oh, look how pretty that is. Yeah, so anyway, cool to have that. I have it on CD, but it's nice to have it on vinyl. The next one, Randy Matthews, the best of Randy Matthews. Randy Matthews was part of the sort of Jesus movement, birth of contemporary Christian rock music, and this is on the Myrrh record label. But Randy, really interesting songwriter, later kind of fell out of the business, and he now plays Redbeard the Pirate down in Florida. So some of you may know Redbeard, but that's Randy Matthews. So in keeping with the recent release of the movie The Jesus Revolution, which is about the Kelsey Grammer, and it's the story of Leon Frisbee and Calvary Chapel, Greg Laurie, you know, my Christian friends would know this. Same thing here. People. This is the People I Love You, which is a group. This is a promo copy. This was a group that was on Capitol in the late 60s featuring Larry Norman. Larry Norman is widely considered as sort of the father of Christian music. And, of course, I Love You is the zombie song. So it's a cover of that. And right in that same vein, those of you who have kind of been following my channel a little bit recently know that I've been picking up these sort of classic Christian artists. This is Randy Stonehill's The Sky is Falling. I think this came out around 1980. This is on the Larry Norman record label, Solid Rock. Randy was in with him. As a matter of fact, it says Larry Norman Presents. I think this was an album that he recorded, and it kind of sat in the vaults for a couple of years. Didn't quite come out, but anyway, The Sky is Falling by Randy Stonehill. Great singer, great songwriter, and like I said, some really good music there. And we're getting to the end here, folks. So I told you the video would be relatively short. Here is Margo Price's new album, Strays. Margo is another Third Man Records artist that has gone out on her own. I'll show you the little lyric sheet that came with it. But this is the purple edition for indie record stores. Margo has, kind of like Josh Hadley in a lot of ways, has gotten away from the sort of, you know, classic sort of country that she sort of started out doing. This, to me, now Joshua Hadley's album is definitely a country album. This doesn't have as much sort of twang to it. It's a very good album. I like it, and it's grown on me. I've listened to it a few times, and I like it more than I did when I think I first heard it. And there's some really nice songs on here. And like I said, Margo is an artist to watch. And The final record I'm going to show you guys is this one. This is not a new release. I think this came out a couple of years ago, but this is the first in the Nancy Sinatra archival series from Light in the Attic. Of course, those of you who know that I'm a huge fan of Lee Hazelwood. Of course, Nancy was involved with Lee Hazelwood. And this is the first. They're reissuing the Nancy albums. I've got the Boots and the Nancy and Lee. But anyway, this is sort of a 2-record set compilation that sort of is an overview of that stuff. Of course, everybody knows these boots are made for walking. Comes with a really nice book here. With some notes and an interview with Hunter Lee, who does a great job with Light in the Attic in these series. There is Nancy and Lee, but really cool collection. And the truth is, with Nancy, this might be all you really need. I don't know that I mean, I like some of the albums individually, but I don't know that a lot of fans, particularly casual fans, would want to go much deeper than what's on this collection. So it serves as a nice overview of Nancy's career. Of course, the big hit, These Boots Are Made for Walking, written by Lee, produced by Lee. Start Walking, 65 to 76. Heavy on the 60s stuff, but a very cool compilation. So those are my new recent pickups. Like I said, not many. I think in the coming couple of months you may see some more stuff. We got Record Store Day coming up, some things like that. But it's a nice little varied set. And if you did get the download, congratulations. Maybe if you did grab it, you might want to comment down there and say, I got the Dylan download, so maybe people can see that in the comments and not try to go download it. So multiple people are trying to use the code. It's probably not wise to throw a code on a video, but I'm all about sharing the love if I can, and it's an album I don't need digitally, so there you go. Anyway, guys, that's recent pickups. We'll see you next week with another video. I hope everyone's doing well and taking care of themselves, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.